Hello, everyone. We're looking at the ICF Credentialing exam, practice question number 1, and we're going to dive into what the options in the question are, what's relevant in determining the best and worst, and talk that through today. So practice question 1 is that a coach is meeting with a prospective client who is growing a new business. The coach and potential client quickly establish an easy connection. The coach is excited about the opportunity to work with the client. As the coach and client are ending their conversation, the prospective client briefly mentions the name of their new business. The coach recognizes the business as the coach is an investor in a more established competitor business in the same community. What should the coach do? So you have 4 options in the multiple choice scenario, and the first is A, not say anything. Try to keep their role as an investor in a competing business separate from their role as a coach. B, share that the business name sounds familiar and make a mental note to determine whether it is a competitor business later that evening. C, share that their role as an investor in the competitor business only if the potential client follows up to pursue coaching with the client. Or D, share their role as an investor in a competing business and acknowledge the possibility of a conflict of interest with the client. So what is relevant to look at when we're thinking through how to determine best and worst? And there are a couple areas that are relevant here. The first is looking at our ICF Code of Ethics. In the Ethical Standards, Section 1, Responsibility to Clients, Number 10 in particular, which states that as a coach, I'm sensitive to the implications of having multiple contracts and relationships with the same clients and sponsors at the same time in order to avoid conflict of interest situations. Also relevant is looking at our core competencies. Core competency 1 is demonstrating ethical practice. The coach demonstrates personal integrity and honesty in interactions with clients, sponsors, and relevant stakeholders, as well as number 4, that the coach abides by the ICF Code of Ethics and upholds the core values, noting that one of the core values is professionalism. So when we take a look at the options available, in particular, when we look at option A, not saying anything, what we need to consider about this is that it seems to be the least transparent approach, possibly the least client-centered, and that the coach isn't yet recognizing that there's a conflict of interest. So there's a lack of self-awareness with A. When we look at option B, it's not being fully honest. The coach already was aware that there is a competitor situation. Option C, again, the coach isn't being fully honest and transparent and not as timely as it could be. Option D, the coach is demonstrating full honesty and transparency regarding the conflict of interest situation, and it seems to be the most direct and timely approach with the client. So a couple things we're looking through here are the lenses of coach self-awareness of the code of ethics, how responsive and timely is the coach to addressing what they're aware of, and how fully open and honest are they with the client. So when we're looking across the spectrum of best and worst, what we're going to see is that D was the option that is considered the best based on it being the most open, honest, transparent, and timely, recognizing the conflict of interest. And the worst would fall under A of being the least open, honest, and transparent about what they recognize, or in this case, didn't recognize as the conflict of interest.